Hello and welcome to the Record Players podcast. My name is Dennis. I'm here with Hattie and Jack, and we're here to give you objectively the best opinion in music. Today, we're going to be looking at the Melodic Blue, new album from Baby Keem from the Top Dog Entertainment stable. Let's get into it. So Baby Keem, this is his debut studio album. He's had a few other EPs released before this. I think this is the first time that he's really gone under the moniker Baby Keem. I'm going to jump right to the end. I thought this album was pure trash, absolutely garbage.
Can we just say this was your pick?
It was my pick. Honestly, on Monday, I debated, messaging you guys, this sucks. I can't do this for a week. Let's just do Common's new album instead. But nah. I thought, hey, if it's trash,
okay, interesting.
We need more trash albums anyway.
Dang. Dang.
That's true. We do just we self what's it called?
Filter.
Yeah, we
self-select.
filter with suggestions. Yeah, we need to be less discerning with what we do.
Yeah, plus I didn't know what you guys would have thought of it.
Okay.
But in general, I thought this album was too cliched. It was cliched. Yeah, I mean,
this album criticisms, but I would not say cliche.
I just thought that the subject matter was basically like misogyny, drug activity,
as
gangs.
Fuck.
Yeah.
How old is he? He must be
21,
no
I
idea.
think.
Okay, yeah.
21 years old, or 20 years old even, I don't know, something around that age. But it's such a juvenile album as well. One of the most I'm not going to go too deeply into it. Jack, your initial thoughts?
Tear him apart, man. It's jokes.
We'll get into it.
I thought there were good songs on here. I thought overall the album was disappointing. I thought particularly I feel with the features as well. I'm thinking Kendrick Lamar specifically because I like him a lot more than Travis Scott. I don't know Don Toliver before this,
and they're cousins. I don't know if you.
Yeah, with
know.
Kendrick.
I feel like Kendrick came down to Baby Keem's level more than
he wasn't hitting you with some deep shit.
Up. Yeah, it was Kendrick was definitely the best feature. Contribution wise, but I feel like it wasn't anywhere near as good as a Kendrick track would have been. I'd have much preferred to listen to Kendrick Lamar by himself, but there were a couple of tracks on here that I thought stood out as kind of better than the rest. So I'm probably half a rung above Dennis in my my current feelings.
I thought the two tracks with Kendrick were a cut above as well, but I thought they actually were the most depressing tracks because they reminded me what good rap sounds like, right?
Well, so they made the rest of the album fall even lower, you mean?
Yeah. Just like when I'm like, oh, is this album really shit or is it just me? And then I hear some good rap and I'm like, oh, wait, no. By contrast.
See,
Hattie, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, well, so overall, I had a range of feelings about this album. I would not say it was.
Did you
completely...
have Range Rover feelings about this album?
Yeah, there was a range, brother. But yeah, no, I was. Look, his kind of style isn't ever going to be for me. It's never going to be the main thing I want to listen to, the kind of melodic rap. But I got to give this guy credit. When you said he was cliche, I don't feel he's cliche. I think that he's quite versatile. He comes off as whiny, and the lyrical content just isn't there. It's all about shit that's so surface level. But I think he does a lot with his voice flow. I think the beats were quite varied. And I knew I think he's got a production credit on pretty much all of the beats. So I've got to give him credit. I think he's an artist where maybe a couple of albums down the line, he might make something that I would want to listen to. I think there's stuff here. And I can completely see if people say that they really fuck with it, I completely see why they would.
So it's the technique. You rate his technique.
No, not even that. I just think I think, like I said, when you said he was cliche, that's the bit I disagree with the most. I think he's trying to be original. Yeah, sure, he's not like completely out of the box, but I think he's trying to be original and make songs that stand out against each other. I think, that it wasn't the same track all the way through, like, fucking Culture 3.
That's true. But that's another one of my pet peeves, is that this sounded more like a notch above a mixtape. It didn't sound like an album with ideas on it.
It wasn't cohesive per se. And on the Kendrick thing, I know, we were just talking about, like, did Kendrick get pulled down, or Jack, you said Kendrick felt pulled down. I think maybe he got pulled down a notch, but I think on the tracks he was on there, the two main features he had, Keem was pulled up a bit, because I wouldn't say that Keem sounded horrible against Kendrick, who's like an elite level rapper for me. I think they were. But to be honest, I wouldn't even mind if they had a collab project. Like I said, my favorite tracks were probably those two, Range Brothers and Family Ties. And it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of, I wasn't expecting with like Keem's sound, if Kendrick came in and he came in with some super deep thing, it wouldn't fit. He's just fucking around, which I think suits the album, especially on which was the track where he's like, let's get this shit, top of the morning. You remember that bit?
Range,
Range Brothers. It's just so ridiculous, but like, I was getting into it. But yeah, if he started talking about, like, oh, I don't know, fucking impoverished communities or whatever, I'd be like, Kendrick, what are you doing? Like, it's just your little cousin fucking around, just talk some shit, which he did.
I will say, like, one of the differences, even though they're like both coming with, like, just the like having fun with the lyrics, like both Kendrick and Baby Keem are doing it, which I hate the baby names, by the way. Like, this is not like for me, I feel like you need like not necessarily like a tough name to be rapping, but you need like a name, something that's not got the word baby in. Like Lil is even like a step.
Well, I was going to say, Jack, can you give me a tier list of a name, like name quality with DaBaby, Lil Baby, and Baby Keem? They're three of like popular babies at the moment.
Lil Baby is the worst because it's got Lil and Baby in. DaBaby is the second worst because it's got Baby, and he's not specifying that he's not just the baby, he's the baby, but he's also put duh.
The only baby.
It's just horrible to say. And then Baby Keem, because it's the closest to an actual like human name.
Okay.
What was I saying?
You brought up about him having baby, having baby in his name, and how you hate babies. That's how we got onto this.
Yeah, but I was saying something before. About Kendrick.
Sorry, I was finding a section in the particular song.
We talked about him and Kendrick having fun, kind of.
Oh, can come back to not being so serious. You can tell they're having fun with the lyrics, not taking it too seriously. But I think one of the things that would improve as Baby Keem goes on, like you said, in a couple of albums, it could be quite good. I think one of the things that will change for that to happen is being less reliant on these like creating catchphrases sorts of thing. Like, I don't know if you guys caught it, but he's got two phones.
I know.
Yeah,
and he likes soul food.
He's got two phones and he doesn't trust people. And like, I heard that maybe 16 times on this 16-track album. And like, I don't need to. Like, have it will naturally progress as he has more to say.
Yeah.
But it's such a red flag for me with a rapper when they need to. It's the same with rock and stuff. Like if all of a band's album is written in G minor, I feel like that's a crutch for the album and a crutch for the artist. Like, break free and like try these other things. Show me that you're more comfortable kind of stepping out of your comfort zone, and that will make you improve. But that is something that will come with experience.
Yeah, I was definitely not overall on your level of, I don't know, annoyance with this album, Dennis, I don't think. But the lyrical content, again, coming up what you've just said, Jack, lyrical content was probably the worst element of this album. By halfway through my second listen, I phased that out. And I was just focusing on the sonic elements that I liked. That I wasn't going to get anything that he was saying because I couldn't relate, and it was the same bullshit. So there was no point even me trying to critique that.
There's
he has
some.
used ha 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 and vroom 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 in multiple lyrics, in
Well, he is a
multiple
baby,
songs.
so that's like, you know. I think like there were, what made it more annoying for me after my first listen was stuff like I thought Drag Activity showed like really good use of like that catchy simplistic lyric style. That for me was the strongest use of that. I thought that worked really well. But then he's also got tracks like South Africa, uh issues, First Order of Business, that like do have a, like, it's not super deep, but they've got an extra layer compared to the other tracks, and they work really well. Like they're probably my favorite tracks on the album, those four that I've just mentioned. Like they've got a little bit of depth, but they still have the like having fun element, and they've still got the like just messing around and playing with it stuff that the other tracks do. So I just feel like the rest of the time he's missing something, rather than the rest of the time he's like equally good but different. I feel like he's got that in him, but he's not pushing himself to use it all the time.
Yeah, like he's trying, but only like...
Yeah.
Couldn't get past lyrics. Like you mentioned First Order of Business. There's a line within that which is like, will you be the person that's going to love me in my 40s? I'm like, in your 40s? Like, you're still going to be young. because people get married in their 40s all the time. Maybe 60s, but, but he's a 20-year-old guy.
If he's 20, yeah, I was going to say, if he's 20, that's like, you know, it's double his granddad. Life. Yeah, he's going to have grandkids at that point.
But it just sort of perspective. It just sort of shows like, it's almost like these are all first draft lyrics. Like, like he'll say stuff like on Trademark USA, the opening track, where he was like, had to tell my grandma sit back and relax and shit, right? So he's talking about his grandma, and he's talking about how he bought his grandma a house and stuff. And then in the same song, he'll say stuff, I just LLC'd my bitch. Like literally, like he should tell his grandma that he doesn't respect women. That's what he should say.
Yeah, that
all
is,
over the fucking place.
Yeah, that is a pet peeve I have with a lot of modern rappers. They're kind of like, it's almost like the attention span isn't there. Like people would say, like, our kids don't have like attention spans. Like you stick to the topic. You know, he's not the only culprit. It's a big problem. Yeah.
But he's contradicting himself in the same song.
There's no Andre 3000s in this generation yet.
Yeah.
What about the production? Because like I said, I think that was overall, I think it was a highlight. And like I said, I found there was a lot of variety, and the fact that I think he was credited on, at least as like the main producer on the majority of tracks, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, you know, you mentioned Trademark USA, other tracks like Vent being like quite trappy, but then you know, track 3, Scapegoats, was like the really like soulful sample one that I really enjoyed. Is a bit too short, but I thought that was cool and could have been fleshed out. But there was also tracks like Issues and Scars that reminded me of Kanye 808's album, a very synthy with big sounding drums. I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And I get how you might get the mixtape feeling, Dennis, but I thought that helped break it up, because if it was just purely a trap, you know, sounding album, then yeah, I would have been very negative.
Yeah, this was something that I actually like saved having to do multiple listens of it, because like, yeah, at least with like I really didn't like Range Brothers that much. I thought it was like a super disappointing feature for Kendrick, and the track generally wasn't like, it's not my vibe. But even with that, I could appreciate, like, you know, it's got really deep sounds and they're not crushing everything else that's happening around it. So like the production on tracks saved it, but even then, after on my third or fourth time through the album, I couldn't ignore some of the stupid fucking lyrics. I was like powerfully enough to get through it, even with the good production.
Right.
So I think if
they were too bad.
He's got the production where to like an acceptable level. Like he's not like a god tier yet, but he's definitely much better at that than he is at lyrical content. Although I will say, like, delivery and stuff, variety of tone and rhythms and stuff is like pretty good. So like if he works on the lyrical side of it, it will make like the biggest impact on the rest of the whole package.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, improve his lyrics. Still have the very delivery, although when he goes really whiny nasally, you need to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the production, yeah, he can just carry on with, doing that and refining that, and yeah, he will be like much better in a short time scale, I think.
Yeah, without I don't want to sound too negative on the guy. You mentioned, Hadi, that he tries a lot of different styles, and yeah, for me, I'm not too into that melodic rapper thing either. I guess that's sort of Frank Ocean was one of the first guys that came out to sort of do that thing. And is that what you mean? That sort of like singing, rapping type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't class Frank Ocean in that. I mean, I know he raps from time to time, but when he raps, he just raps like like a classic kind of rapper.
I would say,
I'd say he's a straight singer.
I would say
like
they're
R&B.
more like evolving from T-Pain.
Right.
With the like rapping, because they're like it's they're nobody's rapping and singing with their own voice. They're rapping and singing using auto-tune to give their voice something else.
Yeah, like Keem on this album, if I was to liken him to another rapper, I'd say he sounded most similar. Again, not as refined, not even that I'm a big fan of, but like I'm thinking of someone like a Young Thug, who's like, his voice is all over the place and like can rap when he wants to, but he's not going to do it all the time. He's going to be doing some crazy shit. He was like a very unrefined Young Thug.
Yeah. Well, I would say one thing that struck out when you mentioned like his sort of the range in his voice, like for him on the track, I think it's Vent, where he does that thing where he's like, I told you that I am a barbarian. He goes, I think it's that track, where he goes into like this almost this character type thing, which is, I guess, shows his versatility, shows like all the different areas in which he can go. He can do the sort of singing thing, he can do the traditional rapping, but he can also do experimental stuff. Yeah,
I hope he doesn't lose that. If I was to kind of say something to him objectively, I hope he doesn't lose that. He just needs to kind of shed the immature elements of it and the stuff that can be a bit grating,
the bragging.
But if he just became a straight rapper, I probably think it probably would be the wrong direction to go as well.
All right, let's get into our top 3 tracks. It's hard for me to pick a top 3. Probably.
Well, it's also good.
Being that you really dislike this, what can you also say? What was like the lowest moment as well?
I would say Trademark USA, the opening track. I would say is probably one of the lowest points.
I would say it had so much potential for me. That's like I agree. I don't think it's one of the worst, but I think it's one of the most disappointing tracks on the album because it starts so fucking well. I was hyped by the start of this track, and then by the end, I fucking hated it. Sorry, I just had to interject, but yeah, that's.
One thing I hated was the lyrics again. Okay, I wrote down some lyrics that particularly grated me. My near long is cabinet strong. Okay, in the same verse, I could probably fuck these bitches in my sleep. What are you trying to say? I don't understand. Your near long is cabinet strong. Okay, you've got a strong woman there. I could probably fuck these bitches in my sleep. Like, where am I supposed to be going? Like, what idea are you trying to communicate?
I think you got hung up on. Well, you both got hung up on the lyrical content to a much bigger degree than I did.
I don't know.
I was kind of like I accepted that it was going to be a weak element.
I don't know, especially coming off the back of Lil Sim's album, like from her, who is like a really good rapper doing really great bars and produced a really unique album to release in the modern day, and then to just go to this person who's just so disrespectful.
I'm thinking as well, like can you get too hung up on the lyrics in an album of a rapper? Like that's like saying you're too caught up on the notes they choose in a like opera.
What? So you're saying like that should have had more of an influence on me, or you're questioning why I didn't get hung up on it?
Like if
that's a fair critique.
If it didn't catch you, it didn't catch you. But like, if I feel like like you're not always going to look at the lyrics of a rock album, but you are always going to look at the lyrics of a rap album, because that's like, as a rapper, that's what you deliver. Everything else is a vessel.
Yeah, I guess
words.
I would normally, I 100% would normally. I think for this level, that was the categorically the weakest element that I got nothing out of. I just didn't even try. Like my listens were excluding that element because I'd already written it off, and I was trying to get enjoyment from everything else.
I was gonna say for enjoyment, that's definitely the way to go. Yeah, but I think like the way I see it is like if you're like a musician of an instrument, unless you've got that like soulful putting character into it, and you can make it say things like make it be happy, make it be sad, like that's what cuts good musicians cut above the rest of everyone else. For a rapper, unless you've got something worthwhile to say in your lyrics, I feel like that's the same thing. All the delivery and the style and the beat, that's like being able to shred scales up and down on a guitar, but it's not got that je ne sais quoi that like 100%. Makes it boom.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like a good example of where I would agree with you on that is like how I would like rate a rapper like Tupac, and I would say he was never like the best technical rapper, but I think he's held in such high esteem, and I hold him in such high esteem because he had the fucking passion and he talked some real shit. Even if he didn't have all the skills of, say, like a Biggie, who was much more technically skilled, but I'd rather listen to Pac any day because his shit touched me, touched me emotionally.
Yeah, it goes back to like the elements of hip hop, which are, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's what knowledge, beatboxing, breaking, and is MCing one of them? I can't remember. But
I don't remember.
There is like some.
I taught this year, and it's like literally as you said it, I just thought knowledge, and that was the first one you said. And I was like,
fuck. Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, MCing, DJing, breaking, graffiti, and beatboxing. So yeah, those are the 5 elements. And so knowledge has always been like a part of it.
Don't get me wrong, his trash lyrical content has factored into the score that I'm going to give him at the end. It's not something I gave him a pass for at all.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you and your top/bottom 3, Dennis.
Bottom 3, Trademark USA. Terrible lyrics, terrible opener. Boo Man. I thought he was trying to create a hook, trying to create a name. I think it's in the Family Ties track that he does with Kendrick, where they go back and forth, they trade verses, and I think Kendrick refers to him as Boo Man, trying to create like a nickname for him. But I didn't like the track; it felt a bit forced. And Jack, you mentioned South Africa. That just annoyed the shit out of me. Every time it came on, I got mad. Yeah, Hadi, give us your top 3.
Yeah, top 3. Like I said, I really like track 3, Scapegoat. It's a bit too short. It was almost like an interlude, but I really like the kind of pitch sample, and kind of it was one of those moments where he had a bit more depth in certain places lyrically. I also liked, I did like Range Brothers a lot. He was a bit whiny in the beginning, but from the beat switch about a minute in, the song was fire for me. I loved on the track there was like the kick drum was used as like a hi-hat. It was like, like a trappy hi-hat, but on the kick. And I thought that was a really nice touch instrumentally. And yeah, I thought Kendrick went in, and I loved them going back and forth. It was, they were just, you could tell they were having fun, and it worked for me. And then, yeah, my last one was Family Ties as well. Again, Kendrick stole the show on that one. That was more of that one was less, them just having fun, and that was like, Kendrick was going in, flow wise, and I was like, this dude needs to release a fucking album soon.
Yeah, is that where he's like, when you refer to me with 4 letters?
4 letters, yeah,
fire.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just calling other rappers out. He's like, I'll burn your album. He's like, I'll smoke on your top 5.
Yeah,
I was just like, yes.
That's why I was like, man, this is what a master looks like.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Switching his flow up all the time.
Yeah, it made me
Yeah.
really miss, like it made me question why we don't have any new Kendrick. So many artists have dropped albums. We've had a Tyler album, we've had a Kanye, Drake album, for better or for worse. We need a Kendrick album. Jack, give us your top three.
Um, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's I liked sections of all the songs that I'm gonna name, but I wouldn't pick these tracks versus many other tracks that we've reviewed to go in any kind of top list. But I liked parts of First Order of Business. I thought that was one of the ones where he actually like showed a bit of character in his lyric, rather than just all the kind of cliches that he goes through the rest of the time. Uh, I thought Drug Activity was his best attempt at creating like a catchy sort of energetic track that was like a good pairing of type of beat and type of lyric and type of feature. Like I thought that kind of worked good together as a one complete package. And I'm gonna choose Issues for the last one again because it shows a bit of like potential of where he could go if he carries on working. But like I said, I wouldn't really like pick any of these tracks to be like
You
this is a great track.
you didn't like Family Ties. That didn't get you with
Yeah, I'm
Kendrick.
surprised that
I
none of the
mean,
Come
Tyler
on,
tracks.
bro.
I mean, it was fine, yeah. But it
I
was
thought,
like it
I
was
thought they were
good.
some of
But
the
like,
best composed because of the way that they played off each other. They traded verses. I thought that was
yeah,
cool.
but I mean, like, I feel like you could just
Like,
like that. It wasn't my favorite Kendrick stuff, and like similarly to how you guys are like, we're like, I listened to it and I was like, damn, I need some Kendrick. Yeah, it made me listen to it and it made me go, why the fuck am I listening to this and not a
Yeah,
Kendrick album?
proper album.
because I've rinsed every other fucking album.
I would
need some
rather
new
listen.
shit.
I would rather sacrifice listening to everything else and only listen to Kendrick's albums for the rest of my life than listen to this every single day and have free reign of other stuff.
Yeah, I would poke out at least
Yeah.
one of my eardrums. I'm not mad at your picks. I'm not mad at your picks though. First Order. When I think of this album, Do Rag Activity, First Order of the Business, those are the ones that stick out in my head.
Cool. Yeah. I did make the right choice. I appreciate you saying.
I'm mad. I'm mad.
On our rankings from GOAT down to, well, it's mind blown, down to trash. I'll start with you, Hattie. What did you think of the album?
Yeah, varied thoughts, as I've said. He has some potential, but he definitely did more wrong than right here. But like I said, I can't discredit the enjoyable production and his attempts at being original. I thought, but yeah, obviously the lyrical content was pretty much trash throughout. And it's just not a style that I'm gonna like casually go to when I want to listen to some hip hop. So I'm gonna give, I'll give him a ribbon.
Okay,
It's a solid ribbon.
To be honest, after listening to what you've had to say, it sounds like I couldn't get past the lyrics, and yeah, it blinded me to the potential that this guy has, because both of you have clearly said that there are certain things he could do in terms of developing the lyrics so
But
that
he
it
is a
just
rapper.
pulls up.
Like that's like listening to a metal album and being like, I couldn't get past the fact the guitars sounded like trash. Like it's a key element of what
You got
he's
a point.
putting forward.
Like that was my issue with grindcore back in the days, that it all sounded like it was recorded on a Sony Ericsson.
Yeah, like if you can't get past pig squeals, you know what I mean? There's just areas of metal that you're never going to venture into.
No, but on your point in terms of listening to us, that's what I'm saying. Like recently, I've started when we've been doing these scores. I've stopped picking my score in advance of when we do it because you guys might enlighten me to something that gets me to potentially bump up or down when we actually do it. So, and that's for me, that's part of the beauty of when we do these things. So,
I'll try that for next week, but for this week, I did decide beforehand. It was a trash beforehand. It's a high trash now, but it's still a trash.
That's jokes.
But yeah, I just couldn't get past the misogyny, and I couldn't get past just how cliched it was. I mean, for me, if you want to stand out in terms of like, tell me about your life experience, because I can pick up a Lil Sims album, I can pick up a Tyler album, I can pick up a Kendrick album, and I'm being pulled into their world. And if you can't do, I'm not interested in hearing how many bitches you can sleep with, or how much money you've got, etc.
Yeah.
Jack, where would you put this?
See, I do a kind of middle ground of the two of you, I think, where I'll come in with an idea, but then after hearing the discussion, what really affects me is when I look back at this page, and I look at everything else and I think in my head, how does it compare? Now, the lowest album for me in Ribbon is Bicep, but I know that I'm an outlier in that reason. So I'm thinking, what's similar here? DMX, Megan Thee Stallion, Migos. I feel like
Migos is the worst of them three.
Migos is the worst of those three. I feel like this is probably on a similar level because there's highs and lows on this album, albeit very muted highs and lows. But like Migos is consistently poor. This is pretty consistently poor as well. Is it worse than Migos? Because if it is, it deserves a trash. If it's not, it deserves a ribbon. That's my internal conflict at the moment. I feel harsh giving it a trash because I liked some of the tracks. Like, I genuinely enjoyed some of the tracks as I was listening through to it. But then some of the tracks piss me off. And I want to put it as the worst album we've reviewed, but I'm not sure it is. Because I feel like if it's a head-to-head, Migos deserves to be the worst album we've reviewed.
Well, Migos is there; it's not moving.
I was going to say, if we don't look at this page and ignore it, I would probably put this, as Dennis put, as a high trash.
I would advocate always that you don't look at that page.
Yeah, I was putting it at the very best of the worst. I'm disregarding your advice as to look into the page or not.
As I thought you would.
I think it's a useful tool, definitely.
I'm gonna commit to a trash, but I don't think I am actually. Having said that, I'm changing my mind again. I'm changing my. It's going in ribbon.
It's not going to be our first trash.
I'm siding with Had. But if we didn't have Migos, I would feel fine putting it here. But it's just not worse than Migos. Like I could put. I could put a fucking slideshow on of the tracks that on Migos, and I could not tell you how any of them went. I couldn't hum any of them, or none of them would go on a playlist of any variety.
Yeah,
there are tracks on here that I could see myself like remembering, sticking on like a Wildin' Out Party playlist. And like, do you know what I
mean? And consider this: if well, for both of you, consider this: if you're putting an album in trash, you're saying there is little to none that could be worse than this. And Dennis, I know you had your qualms with specific elements, but are you really saying you couldn't really make a worse album than this? I think that's very unfair.
It's the worst album I've heard in a while, for sure. It's down there.
But yeah, you kind of fucked with the fucking Culture 3.
Yeah, I did.
This is the conundrum.
I think it's the Southern accents. The Southern accents do it for me. It allows me to give Migos a bit more room because anything said in a southern accent just sounds hilarious.
You got that southern bias.
Yeah, that drawl can swing me. But with that California accent, like, no, you need to bring something a bit better. But okay, it's a ribbon. I'm not mad at that, to be honest.
It's definitely higher.
No higher. I take you guys' points. I definitely didn't look at all the aspects of what was on offer on this album. I wasn't the biggest fan of the production, to be honest. I thought it was a bit pulled back. I didn't hear much in the way of sort of like heavy bass drums or much of that. I guess it was more melodic. As I say that, I realize that the album is called Melodic Blue.
I also, that was another thing that put me in the wrong mindset. Like, it's not particularly melodic, and it's definitely not very blue. Like, that to me, is like, he's made the album he can make, and then someone's gone like, oh, they've been fucking 3 hours deep in a smoke session in the studio. They can't see each other. They just hear each other's voices through the fucking fog that's come up there. And someone's gone, what should we call it? Oh, we should call it the Melodic Blue, man. And someone's gone, oh, that's deep. And then they've gone with it. It has no fucking relevance to what's on the album, except that one like spoken word thing. The woman says, you always talk about it, the Melodic Blue.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think the same goes for the
album.
Same goes for the album cover. I think the album cover is one of the best parts of the album.
True, yeah. It is a good album cover.
It's a good album cover. Yeah.
Right. Any final words, Hattie?
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning. Jack, final words.
I have no idea, but my webcam is bugging the fuck out.
Yeah, I was going to say this is very glitchy.
You're getting hacked, bro.
I have no idea why.
Right, before Jack loses his identity, let us know what you think. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Peace out. Goodbye forever, Jack.
I am ecstatic, as you can probably tell from my face.
I need a house remix of it.
I wrote only one note for that song, and it was fuck Polo G.
I will come over to your house and beat you up. I feel like Dennis is going to throw some spanners in the works.
People were triggered.
What's wrong with you?
Could I put this in Mind Blown?